You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Independent Waters. I am your host, Mikey Manfredi, and joining me, as always, is Zach, Forgotten Idol Batista. Zach, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. I thought you were going to say Forbidden Door for some reason. I was like, what is he doing right now?
Zach, Forbidden Door Batista.
Oh, man. I'm doing great. Forbidden Door was last night. Mikey hasn't watched it, but I did. It's fucking awesome. If you're a wrestling fan, fucking watch it. If you don't want to watch it, I can't help you.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet as of time of recording, but as soon as we're done, I'm probably gonna go watch it.
Oh, you're in for a good fucking time.
I am very excited.
Whew, that's a fucking show and a half, and I was very pleased with the show. Mm-hmm. Cannot recommend it enough.
Well, we are not here to talk about Forbidden Door, of course. We are here to talk about more independent wrestling. And Zach, we've got some pretty bomb indie wrestling to talk about this week, I think.
Yeah, this is a good week. I don't think either you or I, when we talked about this, had any match that we thought was bad at all this week. And none of them were fine either, which is a surprise, because there's always one fine one in the batch, usually.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I believe that you picked the majority of the matches this week, so why don't you tell the people what you brought to the table, and then I'll let them know what I brought.
Alright, so, first match I picked was Nick Wayne versus Lee Moriarty at Without a Cause Wrestling, because I was on a Nick Wayne binge, and I also missed Lee Moriarty in AEW because he's been out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to go a bit more Joshi style, and found Maki Itoh versus Miyu Yamashita at Prestige Wrestling.
Nice. Two matches I'm very interested in. And I brought to the table this week, Cosmo Orion versus Beast Boy from PWL Table Fiesta for the PWL World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super stoked about that match because that was, our friends at PWL always put on some bangers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why don't we just jump right on into it then, Zach, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Let's start off with Nick Wayne versus Lee Moriarty from Without a Cause Pro Wrestling. Zach, what did you think about this one?
I thought this match was great. It was a very good mixture of styles between these two. They got brownie points too because this takes place in an arcade, which I was not expecting. I was like, oh. I think it's one of the more unique ones I've seen in recently. We've seen them in breweries, gyms, a bar one time. What is it? Was it like a little like dancer studio? You can have wrestling pretty much anywhere if you just are creative enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. Yeah,
it was definitely a solid matchup. It was some venue in Vegas for that show. I can't remember exactly what it was. This match was pretty solid. Let's start over. This match was pretty solid. Let's get right into it. This match is very Lee Moriarty centered at the beginning here. It's a lot of Nick Wayne trying to get in offense, but Lee Moriarty being like, "Haha, you're just a kid. I'm more experienced," right?
Yeah, a lot of Nick Wayne goes toe to toe with Lee Moriarty in technical wrestling, which if it was anyone else, I'd be like, that is a foolish mistake, and you'll probably pay for it. But he actually did a pretty good job staying toe to toe with Lee for a lot of the time. But yeah, Moriarty, experience kind of trumped raw talent, unfortunately, for Wayne here.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall correctly, eventually Lee takes Nick to the mat with a waist lock and starts working his left shoulder. And he shoves Lee away from him when he tries to get near him, and this kind of just pisses off Lee a bit, only for Nick to then just go full-on aggro after this. Like, he runs the ropes, hits an arm drag, converts that into a roll-up, and then into a mousetrap roll-up, and then a Hurricane Rana that takes Lee out. And then once Lee gets up, he drop-toe holds him into the middle rope, bounces the ropes back into Lee's throat, which causes him to fall backwards and then stand up. But as he gets up, Nick then drops him with a cutter.
That was a sweet little spot. Honestly, I've never really seen anything like that before, and it was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was literally like someone just flipped a switch, and Nick just got pissed off that Lee kept looking down on him, and he's just like, you know what? Fuck.
You know what? Enough of this. Yeah.
He then punt kicks Lee, goes for a standing moonsault, but Lee is able to spin around as he's like in mid flip. He spins around, so now he's like body to body with him, catches him, locks him in a Kimura immediately on that left arm that I mentioned earlier that Lee dropped Nick on, which was smooth as fuck, but I expect nothing less from Taiga style.
Oh yeah.
Again, though, Nick gets the break here with the rope break. The ropes are his best friend in this match because he probably have a much more difficult time getting out of these holds without them. Anyhow, after this rope break, Nick is basically recovering in the corner, and Lee hits him with a running clothesline. He goes to Irish whip him, and when Nick decides to counter it with one of his own, Lee sweeps out both his legs and then punt kicks the left injured arm again. He keeps up the pressure, drops him with a hammerlock power slam on the left arm again, once more. And from here, Lee is he's like a surgeon in the ring. He's just dissecting Nick's arm. Worst looking spot, also best looking spot, was when he basically locked both of Nick's arms behind his back while he was on the ground and then bridged on top of them, which audibly got the crowd to...
That was super sick and super brutal just to watch.
I did not envy Nick having to take that move.
No, me neither.
However, though, when Lee tries to lift Nick up by his left arm, he lifts him up in the air once. It's successful, but the second time Nick actually counters it with a roll-up, and it gives him the opening he needs to recover in the corner. And as a result, when Lee goes after him, he boots him in the face, then enziguris him in the side of the head, 619s Lee in the back after he falls into the corner. Like, he grabs the ropes from the corner, swings around, and then he drops Lee with a slingshot backbreaker. And as Lee sits up from this, Nick punt kicks him in the chest and hits him with a standing moonsault that he had went for earlier in the match, this time Lee unable to counter it. From here, Nick goes for a cover, and when Lee kicks out, he tries to turn that into a Border City stretch, but Lee blocks it. The two get to their feet. Nick pump kicks Lee away from him so that he can go up to the second rope and hit him with a cutter. And at first, it seems like this move is successful, except like right before Lee connects with the mat, he uses his hands to catch himself and handstand and block it. He hops back up,
which
on his
was
feet.
So sick. That block.
And then I love how Nick sold this because before he could even like react, like he realized, oh shit, he countered it. Like mid that thought, Lee punt kicked him in the back, turned him inside out with a hammerlock lariat, and then fucking slaughtered him with a European uppercut that would make Claudio proud.
Yeah. It was a nice uppercut, man.
I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Lee he came for Nick's neck, honestly.
Lee Moriarty is just so good.
But again, after all these strikes, Nick is able to kick out, and Lee is starting to get a bit frustrated that he can't put this young kid out who's evidently keeping up with him in the ring. So he grabs Nick's injured arm and starts kicking him across the face until Nick catches his leg and stands up. And they then basically engage in a battle of endurance when Nick keeps forearming Lee in the face. Lee then just grabs his injured arm and he hyperextends it over his shoulder. And it's basically a matter of who's going to fall first so that the other one can get the advantage. In the end, Nick wins. He gets multiple forearms across Lee's face over and over again. But then as he's going to follow it up, he gets cut off with a brutal-looking high knee to the face from Lee. And just as things seem...
that was brutal.
And just as things seem bleak for Nick here, he counters a suplex from Lee with a stunner. And then from the floor, he basically uses his legs to head scissors Lee into the corner. Lee falls down, gets back up, and then Nick drives a running forearm into his face, follows it up with a bridging fisherman suplex, but Lee kicks out of it, and this time, though, he rolls out of the ring to the outside, which I think is like the first time this happened in the match, or the second time. Then Nick kind of just sees Lee out there, and there's just this long runway towards the arcade that there's no one there. It's like the fans are all on the sides, and Lee's in the center. And Nick Wayne decides, fuck it. And he runs the ropes and just does a full-on flip over the ropes onto Lee. Wipes him out. He then takes a nice casual seat next to a fan on an open chair before he gets up, rolls Lee back into the ring. Lee then tries to fight back by booting Nick in the face from the corner and going to the middle rope, but unfortunately for him, Nick cuts him off with the Gamengiri to the side of the head, which sends him crashing, and then sends him crashing to the ground with a Spanish fly from the middle rope. And then before Lee can even attempt to fight back into this match, he jumps off the second rope, hits him with a cutter, picks up the win.
Yeah, that was a... The finish came pretty all of a sudden, right? Came kind of out of nowhere, which was awesome. I was definitely expecting Lee to kick out of that cutter, but then once he didn't, I was like, oh shit, Nick Wayne actually won this one. Yeah. I thought for sure this was going to be one of those matches where Nick Wayne loses, but then like their opponent's like, damn, everyone, this kid put up a really good fight, and they raised his hand at the end, even though he lost, right? Mm-hmm. But it turns out Nick Wayne just won, and that was really cool.
Yeah, Lee... Evidently, that cutter from before, that Lee was in a second of his life of losing the match, apparently, because that's his finisher, I guess. Mm-hmm. That was a very surprise. It was a nice surprise of a win for Nick. This match basically hit my expectations and then went a little bit further for me because I thought that the two of them did a great job of selling each other's offense. Mm-hmm. The crowd was pretty good too, which helped. And in general, like I wanted either some crazy athleticism from Rain or some awesome technical work from Moriarty, and I got a nice hybrid between them. So obviously I'm quite pleased. I think I'd give this match a high meh. I had a good time with this match.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. It's a high meh for sure. I am in the same boat because I don't think it got to that markout threshold because I don't know. It was solid, but I don't think there was any points that really like sent me like freaking out about this match. So I think I'm sticking with you with a high meh. It was super solid wrestling. It was a great match, but I don't think it hit that marked out threshold for sure.
Yeah. If you want to watch this match, watch it for the awesome spots and wrestling ability itself, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Why don't we move on to the next one then? We are talking about Miyu. We're talking about Cosmo Orion versus Beast Boy from PWL Table Fiesta, and this one is for the PWL World Championship.
Yes.
Zach, what did we think about this one?
I came into this match. I mean, we've seen plenty of Cosmo Orion matches. He's a great wrestler. Mm-hmm. So I was already like, all right, this match at the minimum has to be pretty good, right? Because Cosmo Orion just has to carry Beast Boy. Why at this point I had no clue who he was at all. Shout out to the commentary team for Pro Wrestling Legacy mentioning these two had tag team before, and this was an open challenge, which is why they're having this match. I was like, oh, okay, so they know each other. All right, that's nice to know. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with Beast Boy. There were some spots that didn't have the best execution of them, but overall, I was quite pleased with his performance in this match, as well as Cosmo, obviously.
Yeah, me too. I thought this was a very solid matchup for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, like, right out the gate, Beast Boy takes out Cosmo with a single leg takedown, and then they
just went right after it.
I was just like, wow. I mean, props for the hustle, man. Shit.
Yeah.
And Cosmo's just like, all right, well, like, shit. I guess I underestimated him a bit. You know, no, it's fine. It's fine. Like, it's like you can see, like, Cosmo's like, no, it's good. It's fine. Mm-hmm. They go back to each other again. Cosmo takes him to the mat, and using only his leg, he like locks Beast Boy quickly in a variation of like a calf crusher. And he's able to get out of it thanks to a rope break, and they separate once more. And Cosmo, he very quickly tries to end this match with the Voyager 1. Beast Boy blocks it by grabbing him in a fireman's carry. And then he starts squatting Cosmo. And I was like...
that was just like, all right, Beast Boy, now you're just showing off. We get it.
I was like, all right, this fucking guy, all right.
Like, damn, homie.
Until eventually Cosmo actually flips out of it onto his feet. He then ducks a strike from Beast Boy. Except Beast Boy, as I mentioned before, having wrestled with Cosmo, knew that he'd do this, so he's waiting for him to, like, duck down and look back at him, and he just elbows him in the back, puts him in the corner, And then Cosmo, in a struggle to fight back, he throws Cosmo into the opposite corner. But when he charges at him, Beast Boy throws Cosmo onto the apron.
Mm-hmm.
And Cosmo tries to get some offense in here. As I said, he had to basically fight back out of getting cornered by him. He tries to knock him, get a shoulder to the gut off from the apron. But he then, as he hits Beast Boy with this, Beast Boy goes back into the ring. Cosmo tries to go jump off the, I believe he tries to springboard off the middle rope.
Mm-hmm.
To jump into the ring to Beast Boy. And Beast Boy, he straight up cut this man in half almost with a spear. It looked great and sounded awesome.
And he just planted him.
Mm-hmm. But this only gets him a 1 count.
Oh.
Which I really liked, because it's a good way of selling that you're champion. Like, Beast Boy is talented. He's quick. He's hungry for the win, but Cosmo is...
Orion's champion for a reason, right?
He's a champ for a reason. He beat the bastard, Marty Snow, twice, I believe. Mm-hmm. Must have had more matches without me knowing. It takes quite a durable man to beat that, so he's not going to go down with just one big move.
Yeah, no way.
And as if Beast Boy could hear me talking right now, he decides to then just manhandle Orion.
At this point, it's very much he's got to use his power versus Orion's speed, or else he's not really going anywhere.
Yeah. So he slams into the mat with a waist lock and a gut wrench suplex. Cosmo is down and out for a bit here, and then he, out of nowhere, stuns Beast Boy with a code breaker, and then he uses that patented mule kick from the floor to his chest.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, though, for me at least, Beast Boy actually stops Cosmo shortly after this it basically just cleaves him inside out with a lariat, as like Cosmo tries to run the ropes and use his speed advantage again, like Mikey was mentioned before, to keep him on his toes.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, he capitalizes again on his clout or advantage by getting Orion up on his shoulder and then dropping him face first onto the mat with a sit-out side power slam. This is followed up with a back-to-back suplex, but again, none of this is able to actually put Cosmo away, and Cosmo ends up back in the corner again. The Beast Boy gives him no room to breathe here. He hits him with a running splash in the corner, and then after Cosmo tries to make a comeback by throwing Beast Boy to the opposite corner, instead, he runs into a back elbow from Beast Boy, which is followed by a blockbuster, but again, it gets him a 2 count. He's like slowly moving up the counts on Cosmo here.
Mm-hmm.
And when he picks Cosmo up, the two kind of get into this cycle where Cosmo hits Beast Boy with a combination of strikes, and then Beast Boy just has one single heavy strike that just nearly knocks him over.
Yeah. Like, you get, like, again, it's the speed versus power coming back, right? Like, Orion hits a lot in succession, and Beast Boy just is like, bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Best strike by far this was when Cosmo slapped Beast Boy so hard across the face that I swear I could hear that shit from here.
Yeah, just you can hear it echo throughout the whole, like, southern United States.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, that it's a thunder coming, bro. Just a clap.
What happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas with that one.
Yeah. Funnily enough, though, after that slap, Beast Boy's he tries to respond like what he'd been doing before. He's like, I'm just gonna hit him again. But Cosmos blocks it and just unloads into him with a bunch of back-to-back unblocked strikes. That knocks him back into the corner, where he then gets washed by 2 of 3 of Cosmos' signature trio of running strikes in the corner. He then winds up to hit the third. He's got his back turned to Beast Boy, and I love how during this, Cosmo's like getting all like hyped up, but he doesn't see.
Yeah, he's getting like the crowd pumped. He's like, "Yeah, let's go!" And while he's doing it, Beast Boy is just behind him, also doing it.
Yeah, like he's like getting ready to hit him with it, and the moment he turns around, he goes to spear Cosmo again, but instead, Cosmo blocks it. Because I guess he had like spider sense for a second there. He's like, he turned around, he's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, he holds him in place. He's like, no.
So instead, Beast Boy's forced to hit him with an overhead suplex. This then leads to him hitting Cosmos with a cavalcade of suplexes, which goes belly to belly, exploder suplex, and then a normal suplex, in which he deadlifted Orion off the ground and then back through the air to the mat again. But none of these get him the win.
Yeah.
Like, he even hits Cosmo with a running Death Valley driver, but again, like, Cosmo is just durable. Though it was, he was close after the Death Valley driver, if I recall correctly.
Yes, he was very close after the Death Valley driver.
So, when Cosmo gets up, and is using the ropes to stand up. Beast Boy charges at him, but this, unfortunately, will lead to his downfall because Cosmo, from here, he basically just pops off. He boots Beast Boy in the face, hits this like slick back-to-back chop combination, which knocks them both down, and then as he gets up, Cosmo basically staggers him with the cosmic kick to the side of the head, and then he finishes him off with the Voyager 1, which is a spinning cutter finisher for the win.
Yeah. Orion finally puts away Beast Boy here to end a great match.
Yeah, I was really a fan of how in this match the crowd was really into it, and both Cosmo and Beast Boy did a really good job of making Beast Boy look like a legit contender for the belt. Like for a second there, for like just the slightest second, I thought Cosmo might lose this, honestly. Which I appreciated because like it's one thing to have a good match between a champion and a contender that you know the contender's going to lose, but it's a whole other thing if you think the contender's actually going to win for a second. That being said,
that's always the best part where it doesn't just feel like nothing. It doesn't just feel like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna win here. It always feels good when it feels like the challenger is in it.
Yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
That being said, this match didn't make me have like a mark out moment. It was a good match. It was well executed. Well, some spots were a bit rough, but for the most part, it was a well-executed match. Good selling, though, and good work from each of these two. I give this match a high mat. How about you, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it a high mat. It was solid. It's still like I feel like these matches are just getting so close to that markout threshold, but just aren't getting there.
Yeah,
but
something missing.
There's something missing. Yeah, there's some sort of factor missing here, but. All together, still a great, solid matchup with these two. I still really enjoyed it, and I would love to see it again. I would love to see who else Cosmo Orion challenges down the line, and what else PWL could do with this title picture.
Agreed.
But yeah, for now, it's just a high man. Solid match. Beast Boy showed off how strong he is, and Cosmo Orion showed off why he's the champion, right? All right.
Let's round it off with some Joshi shit.
Yeah, now that I'm getting the hiccups, let's finish this episode.
All right, my hiccuping friend, sit back and let me take the driver's seat.
We got Maki Itoh versus Miyu Yamashita from Prestige Wrestling.
Yes.
Had to get that in before the next one.
This crowd's energy is off the charts. Like this, I have seen Maki Itoh in AEW several times, and I always am a little sad that she doesn't get as cheered as I would like her to be. But the
pop from this crowd was unreal.
This was the epitome of what many Maki Itoh fans probably see whenever they see AEW's reactions they wish they got, because this crowd was fully into both these wrestlers. But for Maki, they were singing her song. They were she'd have to like ask them to sing. Like, it was honestly awesome watching this go, and it was just. It was like watching an Idol concert for a second. I was just like, damn, that was fucking awesome. And you can tell Maki really appreciated it too.
Yeah, this was a great crowd. Great entrances, great wrestlers in this match. And it just led to a great match, a great time watching it. Why don't we get into some of the details here?
Yes, so these two, after taking in the crowd's energy a bit here, lock up. And they put up a good fight here, each one, but Miyu comes out on top with a side headlock.
These two also used to be a tag team, right?
I believe so. They've tagged a couple times. It wouldn't surprise me, because based on what I've learned about how Emi Sakura is teaching the girls in AEW Dark how to do, like, tag team matches, like, a lot of Joshi girls have, like, a lot of tag matches with each other. So it wouldn't surprise me if at one point or another these two tagged with each other.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell because they know each other, because right in the beginning they kept both trying to get the upper hand, but the other wouldn't let them. They were really fighting for control throughout that whole beginning of the match.
Oh yeah, especially when they're like running the ropes.
Very
and
back and forth.
They keep trying to roll each other up, trying to like get the upper, like just dodging each other's stuff. Maki goes for her brutal falling headbutt, but Miyu quickly rolls out of the way because she knows how devastating that move can be. There's a point where Miyu snap mirrors Maki, but Maki counters it by using Miyu to pull herself off the ground and snap mirror her instead. Then she runs the ropes and she hits the headbutt that she went for before. Throws Miyu into the corner. Basks in the fans' applause. Then starts to just rain down strikes on her head. Very much, she was very much in her element here. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this doesn't really last for her. Because Miyu gets back into this match by basically out-muscling her from a scoop slam and tossing her into the corner, where she nails her with a running knee to the gut and then a snapmare that leads into a single-leg drop kick to her back. And then, like an absolute alpha, Miyu just picks Maki up in a gut wrench and then just drops her onto her knee with a gut buster, which looked awesome.
Yes.
And from here, Miyu keeps kicking Maki while she's down in order to keep her on the ground before, again, picking her up in the gut wrench, hitting her with that gut buster. Maki is really selling her stomach at this point in the match, but she doesn't let herself stay down. Because if you know anything about Maki, Maki is resilient. Maki will also flip you off to her face. Even if she knows that it'll end up with her getting knocked out, she does not care. She will defy you at every point. She fires back into Miyu with several forearms to the face, but she halts this with a single leg takedown, followed by her slamming Maki's knee into her knee. It's kind of like this. How do I put this? It's like this. It was like it was kind of, I don't know how to describe this. I remember when I watched her slam her knee into Maki's knee, I was like, that is a very unique way of just doing what is basically a knee buster.
Yeah, it was like a code breaker to her leg.
Yeah. I was thinking that was what I thought that, but I was like, I don't know if that's just me misremembering it. Because it just seems like such a weird thing to do, but I like it. So after this code breaker to the leg, she locks a body scissor hold on Maki's waist, and slowly Maki crawls her way towards the ropes. So Miyu turns it into a camel clutch. And again, the fan support really, surprise, and Itoh does better when she has a bunch of fans that that are supporting her. Maki's able to crawl the bottom rope, get herself a rope break. Miyu, though, is relentless in her offense after she breaks the hold. She tries to Irish whip Maki, but Maki hangs onto the ropes, and then she hits her with what I have described here as a sling blade backbreaker that forces... Miyu is relentless here, though, as she tries to Irish whip Maki, but Maki uses the ropes to hang on for dear life, basically. Mm-hmm. And then she hits Miyu with what I've described here as a sling blade backbreaker, which looked awesome, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Which forces Miyu into the corner. Maki then hits her with a running elbow to the face, follows up with an Irish whip to the opposite corner, hits a bulldog out of the corner. They have a brief back and forth here where Maki hits Miyu with a tornado DDT, but Maki cannot put Miyu away. Miyu is too tough at this point at the moment, so Maki goes for her signature Boston Crab hold until Miyu kicks her off of her.
Yeah.
Following this up, Miyu tries to hit Maki with a second turnbuckle-assisted Enziguri, except Maki ducks out of the way because she knows how devastating this move can be. Except, unfortunately, what she doesn't anticipate is that Miyu then pump kicks her in the face that forces her back in the corner, and then she gets hit with the Enziguri anyway.
And then she gets hit with the Enziguri anyway.
She tried her best. Like, she gave it the college try. She knew it was coming. It's not like she was just like, it's just a kick. Mm-hmm. She really did not want to get hit with that.
Yeah.
Boldly, then, Miyu tries to put Maki in a fireman's carry, but she's unable to lock it in because Maki, as I said, is resilient to the very end. So she gets out of the hold, goes for a waist lock. Then Maki then reverses by hip attacking Miyu in the face. Because basically, like, Maki is hanging onto the ropes. Miyu tries to pull her off for a German, and Maki uses that to just bump her in the face. And then she spikes her with a DDT. But it doesn't get her the win. So she goes...
That second DDT was brutal.
Yeah, it was like the Miz one where, like, she goes super high up in the air and then just is, like, kind of like... it's like one of those bird feeder things with, like, the bird going down in the water. Like, just... Total spike.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, didn't get her the win, though. So Maki goes to the top rope. But it doesn't really last long because she gets clipped in the side of the head by a roundhouse kick from Miyu that caused her to fall off the top rope. So after she gets picked up, the two then start trading forearm strikes with each other's chest. And surprisingly, Maki actually ends up getting the better end of Miyu here by nearly knocking her out with she just, like, hits her so many times that Miyu, like, crumples over, like, still standing, though. And, like, just seems like she's, like, had, like, a mid-moment where she's passed out. But then, in response, when Maki tries to run the ropes, Miyu gets, like, a second win and cuts her off with a kitchen sink to the knee and then a roundhouse kick to the head. But this time it actually hurts her foot, because if you know anything about Maki Itoh, the reason why her headbutt is so devastating is because she has a thick-ass skull.
Yeah. It's like Warhorse, right?
Yeah, basically. If Warhorse and Maki Itoh ever tag teamed, they would be unstoppable in terms of headbutts. No one could beat them. So Maki goes for the headbutt, but Miyu blocks this, and then she knees her in the head, but what she's unable to block after that, though, is Maki, because she just sends her head, she's full sensor it, and sends her head right into Miyu's face, knocks them both out with the headbutt. They sold that shit like death, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they start to show signs of life for a moment. They crawl towards each other. Maki's just laughing in Miyu's face, and then she goes deadpan, and then just spits right in Miyu's face. And I was like, "Oh no, I don't know if that was the play, Maki, but okay."
Mm-hmm.
So Miyu then picks her up, kicks her in the side of the head, goes for a running knee to the face, but then Maki then intelligently actually counters this by using her momentum to roll her forward into the Boston Crab, which is more akin to a lion tamer now that I think about it. But Miyu is stuck in this Boston Crab for a long fucking time. Like, she is dying in this ring, but she refuses to tap. And through all the pain and anguish, she is actually able to muscle her way to the bottom rope and get a rope break, which frustrates the hell out of Maki. So Maki goes for that awesome DDT that Mikey and I were talking about before. She goes for it again. And while Miyu carries it by getting Maki in a fireman's carry, Maki then counters this counter with a sleeper hold that nearly knocks Miyu out cold. I love how as Maki had this sleeper hold in, she was just flipping Miyu off in her face. She's like, fuck you, die. Like, just go to sleep.
Die.
Fortunately for Miyu, though, she actually is able to toss Maki over her shoulder and then nail her with a running knee in the corner.
Yes.
And the Death Valley driver. Awesome spot, but it doesn't get her the win. So she then sets up, waits for Maki to turn around, and then she just beams her with a spin kick to the side of the head and picks up the win.
Yeah, that was the way Itoh fell made me think this match wasn't quite over yet, but then the pin obviously reminded me that it was.
Yeah, like, she grabbed the side of her face, and even the commentator was like, "Oh, did her
head
blocked
it?" No, she didn't.
It's like, "Oh, she blocked it. Her head blocked it." It's like, "Oh no, she might have."
And then she fell. And it's like, "Oh, nope, never mind." Nope.
Potentially might have caved Maki Itoh's head in to win that match.
Yeah.
But hey, win's a win. I was actually really happy that you picked this match, by the way.
Yeah.
Because her and Thunder Rosa are going to have a match later in the year.
Very exciting.
Yamashita and her, and I was like, oh man, I can't fucking wait. But before I go off on a tangent, what do you think of this match, Mikey?
I thought this match was great. These two beat the absolute crap out of each other, and it was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The fucking red hot crowd was like the nicest surprise I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Or like ever gotten. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like, you get a lot. Bad crowds suck the life out of a match, but good crowds make them just so good.
Yeah.
They bring the match a whole other life to it. And this match is already great. What would you give this match, Mikey?
Honestly, I think I'm giving this one the mark out. This one was super solid. I really liked every moment. These two were just going back and forth all match. It was great, Joshi. The impact of the strikes looked awesome. These two sold for each other really well, and just all together, this match ruled.
100% agree. I actually was thinking the same thing. I was like, I think I might just give this the mark out, honestly, because I really liked a lot of this match. Fucking hell, we got there in the end. The episode was a bit tired. It is early in the morning for both of us, but that match, I feel like I've just gotten life exerted back into me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mikey's dying from hiccups for the last...
I can't stop. I don't know why, man.
Last 5-10 minutes, I'm just my man's dying out here. He's just please stop. I just want to
Every time I try to talk, my hiccups are no.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, that was so that's Indy Waters this week. Honestly, I think
great week.
Yeah, great week. No bad pick, which is always what we strive for here.
Yeah.
Before we forget, let's go into the matches we got for next week. You pick the majority of the matches. You pick the majority in your hiccuping.
I'm going to try to get through it.
You got it. You got this.
Okay. So the matches I picked for next week... The matches I picked for next week are Daniel Garcia versus Fred Yehi from AAW Pro. And I also picked Joe Lando versus Sapphire Reed versus Danny Black from UKPW, United Kingdom Pro Wrestling, in a triple threat match.
Hey, you did it without hiccuping. Let's go.
I hiccuped twice, actually, during that.
Hey, it's fine. The flow did not die. That's all that mattered.
Fair enough. Zach, what match did you bring to the table for next week?
I can't top the hiccuping, but I'm bringing Ashley Vox versus Kaya McKenna from Women's Wrestling Revolution.
Nice. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to get into next week. These matches look pretty solid, and I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. And though he doesn't know about to do this, Mikey, I'll do the plugs this week since you're hiccuping and dying of slow death. First and foremost, if you want to get in contact with us, contact us on our Twitter at CountOutPod or at Indy Waters. Indy Waters. We have 2 separate Twitters. Either one works; they'll get to us. If you want to, contribute to the network, if you feel so, you can become a member at our website, CountOutPod.com. Doesn't matter the amount you give. If you become a member, you can get some exclusive content from us, as well as we just appreciate the support if you feel you wish to do so. If you want to support us another way, though, we've got merch such as our awesome Indy Waters t-shirt that we made, as well as a variety of other merchandise for the other networks podcasts that we have on the show, such as How to Talk to Your Friends About Wrestling, Your Dose of Death, Ring Post Radio. We've got Okada Shorts. We've got a cavalcade of podcasts that all cover a variety of wrestling in general, as well as plenty of articles we have written on the network that cover a wide topic of things for just anything you need wrestling related. Let's see. Join the Discord. I'll say it every time because Ryan, or as much as I can remember, because Ryan wants that thing to grow. It'll be on the CounterPod Twitter, I believe, in the bio or the pin tweet. It's one of the two.
Well, you can find it. Fair enough. All right. Well, with all that out of the way, it just leaves me with one thing left to say, and that is to remember that there's a gigantic sea of independent wrestling out there.
So never stop exploring.
This has been a Countout Podcast.
Hi guys, this is Lauren, your proud host of Your Dose of Death. Just give me a little quick tune in to make sure to listen to Your Dose of Death. Each and every single episode, I provide a different lens into the world of deathmatch, whether it be wrestlers, content creators, or anyone in between. Make sure to listen to me each and every single episode to get a different lens into the death. And please, make sure to listen to Your Dose of Death.